handsome and hardworking young man met nneoma, a beautiful and dashing young lady. They became friends and started dating. nneoma was so gentle and perfect, with a very good character, coupled with her beauty. That alone won the heart of Akko, who proposed to her after a few months of dating and decided to take nneoma to see his mom. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon when Akko took nneoma home to introduce her to his family. His mother, Ugomma, who has been very happy and excited, she changed her expression immediately. nneoma walked into the sitting room. She panicked, looked at nneoma with a mixture of suspicion and fear. Ugomma, Akko's mother, who is a powerful and gifted woman of God, took Akko into her bedroom and warned him about nneoma, telling him that she could sense that something was wrong. "Akko, my son," Ugomma said, as they sat in the living room after nneoma left, "I don't want you to marry that girl. There is something about her that doesn't feel right." Akko laughed it off, thinking that his mother was just being overprotective. "Mama, what's wrong with nneoma?" he asked. "She's beautiful, intelligent and kind. What more could I ask for?" Akko replied his mother. His mother looked at him with a serious expression. "Akko, I have seen many women in my life, but there is something about nneoma that scares me. She has a dark energy around her, and I fear that she will bring you harm." Akko didn't listen to his mother's warning. He was too smitten with nneoma to care about what his mother thought. They got married a few months later, and at first, everything seemed perfect. nneoma was beautiful, charming, loving, and she really took care of him and made him feel like a king. But as time went on, Akko began to notice strange things about nneoma. She would often disappear at night, only to return in the morning with no explanation of where she had been. She would talk to herself in a language he couldn't understand, and she would often laugh mechanically like a mad woman. Akko tried to brush it off as nothing, but deep down he knew that something was wrong. He was ashamed to tell his mother or family because they all warned him. And then, one night, Akko caught his wife nneoma performing a ritual in their living room. She was surrounded by candles, incense, and strange artifacts. She was chanting in a strange language that sent chills down his spine. Akko nearly fainted when he saw his wife due to shock. nneoma was dressed in a black robe, looking like a century-old woman with an old and wrinkled skin, her face looking so evil and full of wrinkles. Her teeth have grown long and looking like a vampire's fangs. That was when it dawned on Akko that he had married a century-old witch. He realized then that his mother had been right all along. nneoma was indeed a witch. She had been using her magic to manipulate him and control their relationship. Akko tried to flee, but nneoma wouldn't let him go. She used her magic to bind him to her. He was trapped in a living nightmare. Akko was forced to watch as she performed her dark rituals, and he was powerless to stop her. As days went by, Akko became increasingly very desperate. He didn't entirely lost all his senses due to his mother's constant prayers, and intercession. He didn't know how to escape from normal grasp, and he felt like he was losing his mind and began to question his own sanity, wondering if he was just imagining things. But then, one day, Ugomma, Ako's mother, sensing her son's life might be in danger, became very worried and feared for his life. After not reaching him on phone for a week, she decided to go and check on her son. She gathered her team of prayer warriors and they came to Ako's house unannounced, broke the door open. As soon as Ugomma saw the state her son was in, she knew that something was wrong. "Ako, my son," she said, as she hugged him tightly. "I told you that Nneoma was not a good woman. She is a witch, and she has been using her magic to control you." Ako broke down in tears and fell into his mother's arms, relieved that someone had finally come to rescue him. Ugomma listened as her son told her everything that had been happening, and she nodded knowingly. "Don't worry, Ako," she said. "We will get you out of this situation, but first, you need to be very strong and brave. Can you do that for me?" Ako nodded, feeling a sense of determination that he hadn't felt in months. Ugomma, together with her team of prayer warriors, started praying, singing, and calling the name of God. Aku began to fight back against Nneoma's magic, breaking all the evil rituals, yokes, and incantations to break Nneoma's spell. And slowly but surely, Aku began to feel like himself again. It wasn't easy, and there were many times when Aku felt like giving up. But his mother was always there to encourage him, and eventually they were able to break Nneoma's hold on Aku. That was when Nneoma started shouting. She came running out from a room, looking like a dark, twisted shadow, chanting strange incantations, proclaiming that Aku's soul is hers. Ugomma, together with her team of prayer warriors, prayed, sang, and sprayed holy water and anointing oil on Nneoma, who started shouting and twisting herself in an airy form. Then suddenly, she turned into a snake before she disappeared into thin air. Everyone rejoiced, knowing that the battle they just fought are not for the weak. Finally, they have conquered the witch and emerged victoriously. Ako left that house and never looked back. It was a difficult experience, but it taught him a valuable lesson. Ako learned to listen to his mother's advice and to trust her intuition. And he also learned to be careful about the company he keeps. As for Ugomma, no one ever saw her again, but rumor had it that she had moved on to her next victim, using her magic to manipulate and control. But Ako could only hope that someone would warn him before it was too late. His mother's warning had come too late for him, but it had ultimately saved him from a life of misery and suffering. Ako was grateful for her wisdom, gift, and intuition. Ako made a vow to always listen to his mother's advice in future. The experience have left him shaking, but it has also taught him a valuable lesson. The end.